SmashPod. I'm here with the Hawk. Daytime today. I have a little bit of daylight out. You are in a windowless room, it looks like.
I have a window on this side, but it faces the building across from us. So Mike is here. He is watching Oz. He started Oz now, and so until we get the place completely furnished, when I have a call like this, I am relegated to the second bedroom slash eventual office, but not nearly as beautiful as the bright lit area from before.
Well, one thing you might notice, so accounting from last week, I lost again pretty badly. You might notice I don't have a hat. I am unfortunately downtown at an office, and I did not bring my hat, but I will owe you one for next week when who knows, if I lose again, maybe I'll have to wear two hats. What happens if I lose again this week? Does it compound or?
Yeah, like a hat on a hat, or maybe we do like maybe you got to wear like those, a hat and like those like general shoulder pads, or we'll figure out something.
Something else.
Oh, maybe like a cowboy shirt.
I don't have a cowboy shirt.
I will buy you a cowboy shirt. Although I think like it's like throwing holy water on a vampire. You might scream in pain the second you put it on.
Well,
as an Eagles fan, for people that don't know.
I mean, you did make me wear a Raptor shirt the year the Raptors eliminated the Sixers. That was probably more painful for me than,
That was a bachelor party, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to know how dorky our bachelor parties are, but it was a lot of fun. And Haibo was a good sport, but he was in physical pain the entire night in that shirt.
I know, it's in a Kawhi face. I think Kawhi's face. It was just a big shirt with Kawhi's face on the front.
Well, if I ever have anything like a bachelor party again, you can give me the game 6 Robert Horry 3-point shot to wear as my penance.
Yes. Speaking of which, hat on a hat. That was one of your favorite phrases. I had never heard of this phrase before. I think that's one of your favorite phrases, wasn't it, from last year?
Yeah. Oh, so for people that don't know, if you want a little bit, I have no special knowledge of this, but I was listening to the podcast Smart List, if you guys have heard it. And they had Bill Hader on. He was done with his time on Saturday Night Live. The short version is he had a sketch that sketches weren't getting on the air. He had one not quite working. And he got some advice from one of the alums. They said, hey, you're overcomplicating this thing. You're doing a hat on a hat on top of a hat. Sometimes you got to make the sketch or make, your game or make the conversation about one thing, keep it focused. I think sometimes we want to overcomplicate stuff. And we're like, well, let's do, an impersonation of this person while also juggling. It just becomes too much.
Yep. So maybe you will see a hat on a hat next week when I get there.
I will try. I'll do my best to win again.
All right. Well, let's get to it. By the way, we have new articles out. So if you go to our news and analysis section, we brought out our special Halloween cards again this year. So you can check them out, as well as kind of the week 6 data summary is up with popular picks. Not the highest scoring, but the most popular picks, cards, and combos. So go and check them out. But let's take a quick recap of week 6 and take a look at who won. Tiger 5678 took home the grand prize. No QB and hellacious halfbacks. I mean, we've seen this story before, right?
Yeah, and the stack on Bijan, he clearly went all in on the running backs, and when it works, it works. This is also maybe the difference between weekly tournaments versus like league play. And league play, if you take a big swing like this and you miss, it can actually set you pretty far back. So after a couple of weeks, you might find that you're hurting. So for those people in B2B leagues who are watching this, you may want to be a little careful here, unless you're behind and desperately trying to catch up. And league play, if you're setting, 2 or 3 lineups, you can take a couple of big swings, and if a couple strike out, you're towards the bottom. But if you connect on one like this, it's a great way to like jump to the top.
Yeah. And I will say, in addition to the strategy itself, I mean, Bijan, Drake, JSN, Achan, they all had really big weeks. I mean, Achan had 27 points by himself,
Yeah.
right? With nothing on. So you still got to pick the right players.
Yeah, Gibbs was the closest thing to a dud here. I think we were talking about this the other night, which is when the scores were finalizing on Monday, which is that if I actually have to go look up, we should see what the highest scoring lineup of all time is. But if Gibbs had just given him a normal week with Alicia's halfbacks, or even a good week, not even a record setting, he may have had a shot at the all-time record. That Gibbs 6.5 was really the only thing in his lineup that you're kind of like shaking your head at.
I believe nobody's ever cracked 300, or at least in kind of the normal scoring. Like within campaigns,
Yeah.
when you have bigger budgets and things, like people can do, different things.
Yeah, or some
But
of the things like the Mud Bowl, some of the specials we've had, like the Always On, but the
yeah,
regular traditional weeks of the 12K card budget.
I don't think anybody's cracked 300. I want to say our highest score is like a 280 something. So yeah, I mean, 30 more points with hellacious halfbacks. Yeah, if Gibbs had a 20 or 30 point week,
Could have gotten
they
there.
would have been close. Yeah. Um, all right. Well, should we jump to our lineups for this week?
Yeah, let's take a look. Or should we do a quick recap of why you might be wearing two hats? We don't have to belabor it, but maybe a quick
Uh,
show.
yes. So our two lineups, clearly Chris crushed me. Chris had 183 points. So Chris's lineup, I mean, just kind of across the board, right? Like
Yeah, and I
Dak,
think part of the
Taylor.
reason we do this, we're doing the different cards to help people. I don't want to belabor this too long, but I think the short version is A, just a good lineup. The players still matter, even with the cards. And B, I think kind of the big hits here were Chimere. So if you've not used Special Teams Ace before, it's a great card because again, Chimere's cost was like 3K. So let me get some better players in my lineup. Cost me about 1.5K of card budget, but I got 13.2 points. Wasn't even like the biggest week for him, but still a good amount. Golden Arm was pretty good with Dak. I think the key this week was really just having Special Teams Ace, having Chimere for 3K, which freed up a good 2 3K of even like a replacement level 5 6K receiver to go get some sort of better players.
By the way, if you had played Bruising, I mean, Bruising Bell Cow and Taylor got you 21 points already, I think. Yeah, 21 points off Bruising Bell Cow. If you had played that on Rico, that would have been 30. He had 30 carries.
Wow, that is absurd.
30 carries. That is nuts. What's going to happen when Chuba comes back? Is Chuba still have a job? Like,
I think so. I think it'll be a frustrating time. Sure, I will say Dowdle did get like two of the worst defenses in the league. He's clearly looked like the better player so far, but Chuba may also have been banged up. I don't think they'll immediately like hand the job to Dowdle. I think that it'll be a timeshare, but I will say there's some pressure on Chuba to come back and play well because if he doesn't and Dowdle keeps running well, that timeshare is going to go from 50-50 ish to 70-30 to 80-20 to
yep,
90-10 very quickly.
yeah. Um, cool. And then if we take a look at mine, I was betting that the Panthers were not going to do very well. My two cards on Bryce Young and XL, XL I think didn't get any like basically I think he had one target for one catch or something like that. So he got absolutely nothing. Which is before he got injured, I think he had like remember he had that week that he had 8 targets, one catch on 8 targets for -3 yards or something. Like that would have been the bobblehead week. But that did not come to pass. And Bryce Young actually had Bryce Young had a decent game.
Yeah, I think targeting Dallas is a good idea, but I would target them with the positive this week as opposed to the negative cards.
Yep.
Any other defense, you'd probably be in pretty good shape with this stack.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on to this week. So Chris, you wanna start on your side?
Yeah, so the challenge from Haibo was he called it the Vanilla Challenge. basically I could play any combination of vanilla cards. Although I did cheat and add a $500 Seabird's Confidence card at the end just to use the whole budget. But any combination of vanilla cards. So, this is still, as you can see, a really good projected lineup. And I think the
But
the key here.
by the way, when we say vanilla cards, we have a
Oh, thank
set
you.
of starting, All Pro, and Hall of Fame. They're pretty straightforward. They just give you a straight multiplier to any player. So we tend to call them the vanilla cards because there's nothing else that happens. You just pick a player and you get what is it, 1x, 2.5, whatever. But it's basically a straight multiplier on the player.
So yeah, so I think the key for me is just getting a good lineup, right? And with a good lineup, the key was in spending a little bit more on the positions where I wanted to use the vanilla cards. We did raise some of the prices on the vanillas last year, so it's not quite as bountiful as it used to be. But the Hall of Fame kicker on Aubrey is 3x for kicker score. As we know, Aubrey has the ability to put up like 20-point weeks. And they've got a nice little matchup with Washington, who's kind of got a bend but doesn't always break defense. I think they'll score a lot and potentially have a lot of field goals. And then Taylor too. The Chargers have not been as good defensively this year as they were last year, as I expected. If you're in a home league, you've probably seen the defense hitting the waiver wires in your league, which is a little sad for a Harbaugh defense. So yeah, Taylor's just been too good. So I think just doubling his score was pretty attractive. And he's had 3 20+ point weeks already. So again, these offer significant upside. And then if the Steelers win tonight, that's the one thing. We're going to find a lot tonight for my lineup. They got Rodgers, they got Metcalf, they got Seabird Confidence, they got that Steelers defense. So if the Bengals drop 30 on the Steelers, win 30 to 12 on a weird Thursday night games are always weird. I'm toast. So I'm going to start picking out a hat. If they do really well, then Haibo, it's time for us to start shopping for that Cowboys t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to mention, yeah, three Steelers. That's a big bet on a Thursday night game. Um, all right. So your cards for me were two field cards. Home field advantage, where everyone who's playing at home gets a 25% boost, but if you're playing on the road, you get a 25% penalty. And then V for victory, if the team actually wins at home, you get a 25% boost. And if they lose, you get a 25% penalty. So there's most of our cards have no downside. You either get points or it's zero. But these cards, both of these have actual negatives, where if things happen, you could actually lose points. And so I'll tell you what I did. I went to ESPN. I looked at the schedule for the week. I looked at the betting lines and I said, what are the ones that are most likely to win at home? Kansas City is strongly favored to both win and are playing at home. Um, Less so by a field goal, but I feel good about Chicago at home against New Orleans.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
and then Denver at home against the Giants. The Giants looked pretty good last week, so we'll see. But again, Denver has insane defense. I like them at home. And then I think the other one was, this is a dangerous one, but Tampa Bay at Detroit. Tampa Bay is all sorts of banged up, injuries kind of everywhere. That
Yeah.
being said, they are 5-1. Mayfield, has some insane luck thing going on. I think they've won by like less than a score 4 of the 6 games this year. He's led like 4 straight fourth quarter comebacks. So you never know. But Detroit is also strongly favored at home. Um,
And I'm looking it up because I think that okay, actually not as bad as I realized. I didn't pick them earlier, and I'll use the Vegas lines to also help me because it's a CBS one. We have to like rank them
mhm.
as well. And yeah, the line started at 7.5. It's down to 7. That's actually not that bad. I would have thought it would have gone a little bit closer given how the Giants have been playing because there are some other lines that just like completely reverse in a
Yep.
day or two. But those are good picks. And obviously, if you're looking at the projected score, V for victory doesn't project. We don't really. We probably at some point can make like a more complex algorithm to like guess at winners and losers or have like an expected value. But today, if you play it, your scores, your projection is going to look artificially low. Just be aware of that. But I certainly imagine that Haibo will do pretty well with this lineup, and I think there's a decent chance I'm going to need to go buy a
Well,
funky hat for next week.
well, we will see. I mean, from the Chiefs I think are the probably the closest to a slam dunk. But there's not really like the outside of Mahomes and Kelsey, like I don't really know like which Chiefs running back is going to go off or which Chiefs receivers are going to get big points. So I
They
actually
do
I
they do get Rashee Rice back this week though, which may take them a week or two to get fully integrated, but that should be a huge advantage for them.
yeah. And then certainly, I got three Lions, got two Bears, and then again with the Broncos, I could probably swap out the Kansas City defense with the Broncos defense, honestly. You know, I might do that actually. Let me
Oh,
add the Broncos defense.
I'm not mean to help Haibo do better here. I don't like where this is going.
Uh, all right, so two Chiefs, two Broncos, two Bears, and three Lions, and we will see. If any of those four teams lose, though, they become negative points. So really really need them to all win this week.
Well, I will be cheering against them this weekend.
All right, well, we will see. Yeah. Um, Yep, week 7, all games are open, so go, set your lineups for weekly, for league, for single player, and yeah, come back next week and see how many hats I might be wearing.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
All right, have a good one, Chris.
I think so.